Hey everyone, my name is Riley, and in this video, I will be showing you how you can create a profitable and professional affiliate marketing website. I have been doing affiliate marketing for around 3 years at this point, and it has completely changed my life and allowed me to leave my job and make a full-time income online. I have created many different affiliate marketing websites in many different niches, and in this video, I'm going to show you my exact process in how I go ahead and create one of these websites. Everything that you need to know about affiliate marketing and creating a website is going to be included in this video. I am holding nothing back, and I'm not going to try and sell you a $2,000 course. I'm going to be giving you everything for completely free. I will be showing you how you can get hosting for your website. I will then be showing you how we can find awesome templates that do most of the heavy lifting for us. And then we will be customizing this website to turn it from a blank template into a profitable and professional affiliate marketing website. So all you need to do is follow along with this tutorial, and you will walk away from this video with your very own affiliate marketing website. With all of that being said, let's jump in and start creating this website. Okay, so step number one, the first thing that we need to do is get hosting for the website that we are going to create. The best hosting provider that I have found is Hostinger, and if you use the first link in the description, you can get a nice discount on your Hostinger plan. And when you open that up, you should come over to Hostinger right here. Now, as you can see, Hostinger currently have a huge sale on for Black Friday, and no matter when you are watching this video, they probably will not have this deal on specifically. However, they do usually have some kind of promotion or discount code running. So once you are on Hostinger, if we just scroll down, you can see this is where we can select the web hosting plan. And in these hosting options, you can see we have premium, we have business, and we have cloud startup. Now, I'm not going to go into a ridiculous amount of detail with each of these and what all of these plans include. However, we will be going for the business plan right here. The main reason is for this increased performance. What I have found when using premium in the past is, especially when you start adding certain plugins and different things that are necessary to make a fantastic site on WordPress, the premium hosting can start to be a little bit slow, and the web page startup speed can slow down dramatically, and this is really not what we want with a website. So if you are on a super tight budget, then you can absolutely go with the premium. However, I would recommend going with the business, and that is what I am going to do now. So we can just click on add to cart right here, and then it's going to take us over to this screen where we can choose a period. Now, if you know for a fact that you are going to be using your website for the next 48 months, then this is the best option right here. Obviously, it is by far the cheapest on a monthly basis, and you also get 2 months for free. You can also go with 24 months, 12 months, or 1 month. So just choose your plan right here. I usually recommend going for the 12-month option, as this works out far cheaper on a monthly basis, and most importantly, we get a free domain for the first year. A domain is usually going to cost you around about $15 for the year anyway, so the fact that we get it baked into this 12-month plan is always the option that I recommend. Now we can then go down and create the account here, so you just enter your email address and create a password, and then you can go ahead and select the payment method that you wish to buy your hosting with. Once all of this has been entered, we can simply scroll down here, click on Submit Secure Payment, and then we can go ahead and buy the hosting. Once you have purchased your hosting, you should be taken over to this screen where it asks what is your website type. Now we can just go ahead and select what you are building a website for. In this example, I'm just going to go ahead and build a blog. So I'm going to select blog here, and then it will ask if you want to create or migrate a website. So right here, we can either choose to create a new website or migrate your website if you already have a website that is hosted on another platform. But as this is a tutorial, let's go ahead and create a new website. So we can click on select right here, and then it's going to ask if we would like to build this with WordPress or the Hostinger AI builder. Of course, we are going to go with WordPress right here, so we can click on select. Now right here, this is where we can create our WordPress account. So earlier on, we created and bought Hostinger hosting, and now we are creating our actual WordPress account within Hostinger. The administrator email by default is set to the same email that you signed up for Hostinja with. So you can leave that if that is something you are cool with, or you can also go ahead and change this. We can then go ahead and create an administrator password. This is how we can log into WordPress. And once all of this has been created, we can just go ahead and click on continue. It's then going to ask if you would like to add these plugins to your website. I would recommend just clicking on skip. I will manage plugins later. This is something we will go into a lot of detail in, is plugins. So we can click on skip. And then it's going to ask which look do you prefer. So you can choose any of these templates. The one that I would recommend and that most people go with when building a WordPress website is going to be Astra. Astra by far gives you the most functionality and allows us to change and customize the most things. So this is the template that I will be going with for this example. Once you have selected your template, we can then go ahead and name the website. So this is where we can either go ahead and get a new domain, or you can connect up an existing domain if you already have one. Now, earlier on, although I recommended the yearly plan, I personally went with the monthly plan just on this Hostinja account for the example of this tutorial. It didn't really make sense for me to buy a full year. However, I will still walk you through how to get a domain. So it says here, buy a domain for me because I selected the monthly plan. But if you went for the yearly plan that includes that free domain, it should say something like connect a domain or claim your domain, something like this. So we can just go ahead and click on select. From here, we can then choose the desired domain. So in here, just enter in the domain that you would like to buy, the name of your brand. So for this example, I will just go with my name. Let's see if rileyholden.com is available. And as you can see, it is available right here. So I can go ahead and click on buy now. Once again, you should be able to claim this for completely free if you went with the yearly plan or higher. And then as you can see here, free domain privacy protection is included. So I can just go ahead and complete my payment right here. Once your domain is connected, just like I have connected my domain there, it will now go ahead and initialize setup, connect up Hostinja to WordPress. So it may take a few seconds to do so. It then says you are almost there. And you will see in the middle, we have an option to edit the website with WordPress. Now, before we go into the admin panel, there is something super important that we need to check here. So just go over to this control panel section and click on manage site right here. Now, before we even go into WordPress, before we even start taking a look through the whole WordPress dashboard and start editing the website, we do need to take a little bit of a deeper dive into Hostinja to make sure that the website is secured and also enable backups, which are two super important things. Now, this can look super confusing, but don't worry, there is just a few things that we need to do here. So first of all, if we just go to this top section, you should see on the right hand side, we have daily backups, and this is now disabled. So if we just click into manage right here, this is then going to take us over to the backups area. Now, adding backups is completely optional. This does cost a little bit extra. If we just go into add daily backups right here, you can see that per month is going to be an extra $2, or this is £2 as I am in the UK, but it's going to be around about $2 per month for your backups. I do highly recommend this as this has saved me so many times in the past. It just stores backups daily so that if you install some kind of plugin or something goes wrong with your website, instead of having to build the entire thing from scratch again, you can just go back to yesterday's backup, pick the website back up from there, and then it saves you so much time. So as I said, this is something that has personally really helped me, but it's definitely not required. If this is something that you want to add, super easy, we can just complete payment right there, and that is going to add daily backups to the hosting plan. If there ever comes a time where you need to restore from one of your backups, if your website goes down or something happens to your website, we can just come into this restore history right here, and this will show all of your backups where you can restore them from. The second thing that we need to do here is just go down into this security option on the left hand side, open this little drop down menu up, and right here we can click into SSL. Now, SSL certificates are always going to be included with Hostinja, but we just need to make sure this is active right here. As you can see, mine is active automatically. So just make sure yours is active. If not, you can go ahead and activate it right here. Once you have checked that, we can then go back over to the main dashboard right here. And now let's go ahead and dive into WordPress, where we can actually get into the meat and potatoes of this tutorial. So all we are going to do now is, from this main dashboard, is click over here onto the WordPress admin panel. And this is going to take us over to WordPress. So that is the first way we can access the WordPress admin panel. Another way that you can get back to this WordPress dashboard at any time is by simply opening up a new tab and typing in your domain /WordPress-admin, just like this. And if we go ahead and click on enter, you can see that that will also take me over to the WordPress dashboard. So what I recommend to do is just go up to this top corner and make sure that you bookmark this tab. And it just makes it easier to get back to this WordPress dashboard with the click of a button. Okay, so this right here is the WordPress dashboard. Now, I appreciate that this can look extremely confusing at first, but don't worry, I will break everything down in this tutorial and turn this from something that looks extremely confusing to a very easy to use website builder. So to jump right in, let's take a look at the overview of the WordPress dashboard. So if we go into this top right corner, or top left corner, I should say, and hover over the domain, we can go straight in here and visit the site. Now, as you can see, we currently have a blank website right now because we have not done anything. So that is just how you can access the website at any time. Right here is where you can check for any WordPress updates. As you can see right here, it's asking me to install this certain plugin, which we will actually do later in the video. And then in this section, we can take a look at any comments that have been made on your website or any blog articles. We actually have an example right here. So it would just be the person's name. This is the comment right here. As I say, this is just an example given by WordPress. And then we can see the date this was submitted and everything like that. Down here, we can reply to comments. We can put them in the bin. We can mark them as spam, unapprove these, and we have full control over all of these comments. If we hover over new, this is where we can go ahead and create new posts, media, new pages. We can even add users. So for example, if I wanted to add a new user, I can go ahead and click into here and add in different people who are in my organization or other people who may need to access this WordPress website to do some editing and overall help me out on the website. The other sections, things like posts, media, and pages, we will cover later in the video. This option is just actually a plugin, so we will talk about that later on. And then if we come over to this left side, this is where we can do the main bulk of the editing. So if I click into posts right here, this is where I can see all of my current WordPress posts. Once again, I just have an example right here that says hello world. If I want to, I can just go ahead and delete this. But once again, on the left-hand side, because I am under posts, we can see that this has now opened up a drop-down menu where I can go ahead and create a new post, just like this. We can take a look at categories right here, and we can start categorizing everything. We can click into tags, where we can tag certain posts and group them together. Under media, this is where we can see all of the media that we have ever uploaded to WordPress. We can go to add new media file, where we can upload new media. Under pages, this is where we can create different pages for our site. The pre-built one is a privacy policy right here. And as I said, this is where you can view all of your different pages. We can, of course, add new pages. Once again, we have comments here, which I have already showed you. And then if you remember, we installed the Astra theme right at the start, and that's what this is. So we can click into Astra right here, and then we can go ahead and start designing the website. So we can start designing the website in a second. The last thing that I need to go through is this settings option right here. So if we go ahead and click into settings, we can see that the site title is currently rileyholden.com. So in here, let's actually make an affiliate marketing blog on coffee. This kind of caught my eye, so let's go for coffee. We'll call this G-Force Coffee. And then as you can see, that is going to change this title up here. We can also change the tagline. So this is just in a few words, explain what the website is about. The best coffee reviews on the internet. So earlier on, you can remember that we went into the main Hostinger editor and I made sure that everybody had the SSL certificate that is enabled. So in the WordPress address and the site address, we can see that this is currently HTTP. Now this actually is an unsecure site. So what we can do here is just go in and change this to HTTPS. And this means that the site is now going to be secure. So if I now go ahead and save this and we check out the website once again, we can see that it's now going to have this padlock icon next to it, which means the connection is secure. Now it's super important that it has this padlock right here and we have that HTTPS, because if not, then when people try to access your website, Google is usually going to say something like this and say, hey, this website is probably a scam. You probably want to avoid going there. Now, I'm assuming that you don't want that on your site, so that's why it's super important that we have HTTPS right here. Now we can go down, we can change the administration email address. This is how you log in if you want to. And then for the rest of these, we can just change like the site language, the time zone, the date format, time format, and everything like that. So if we just make sure this is all saved, the only other thing that we are going to do right now before we start actually jumping in and editing the website is if we just go over to settings and click on permalinks right here, we just want to clean up the URL. So right now, if I create a new page, it's going to give kind of like this horrible random bunch of letters. Whereas if we go down to change this to post name, let's say that I created a post about the best coffee beans and I titled the post coffee beans. Then with this post name, it's going to be rileyholden.com/coffeebeans instead of this random assortment of letters and numbers up here. So once again, very important that we do this, and then we can just go down and save the changes. And let's now jump in to start creating this website. So what we want to do is just go up to Astra right here. Let's go ahead and click into Astra. And then over on the right-hand side, you should see this option that says useful plugins. Now this very top option is starter templates, so we can just go ahead and install this. However, if for some reason you don't see starter templates right here, like it's just not showing up for you, what we can do instead is hover over plugins right here, then go to add new plugin. And this is going to take us over to the WordPress plugin store. Then in here, we can just go over to search plugins and search for starter templates, just like this. And you will see the exact same plugin is going to pop up. So what we can do from here is just click on install now. And then once this is installed, we will also have to go ahead and activate this. So it looks like it was actually automatically activated there. So cool. If it doesn't automatically take you over to this screen, click on activate and then it will. Either way, you should now be on this screen. Now this is going to give us a few different options to select a page builder. We have the standard WordPress block editor, Elementor, and then Beaver Builder. I do not remember the last time that I built a website outside of Elementor. It is absolutely fantastic and it is literally a cheat code when building a WordPress site. So we want to go for Elementor right here. And then we can see this is going to give us a bunch of beautiful templates that we can choose to create our website with. Now the template that you choose is super important, as this is almost like the building block of your site. It's like the foundations. You will notice, first of all, that some of these have premium in the top corner, and this of course means you will have to pay for these templates. But we also have these ones without premium, and all of these are free to use. So as I say, as this is kind of like the building block of your website, you want to find a template that is already in the niche that you are going into. So for example, if I was building kind of like a fitness website, I can go up to the search bar, search for fitness. And then we can see all of these different fitness templates are going to pop up. We have like this, looks like a spa template. We have a yoga studio, personal trainer, yoga instructor. Now, I will preface this by saying that the template does not have to match what you are building a website on exactly, but it just needs to be relatively close. We can edit every single part of this, all the images, the text, the buttons, we can drag things around, but it just makes it a lot easier if we choose a template that closely resembles the site that you want to build. So what I am going to do is just go up here and type in coffee. And then we can take a look at a few of these different templates. Now, looking through these, I'm building a coffee blog. Now, these are all for coffee shops, so I don't actually think this is going to be the best to build my website around. So instead, let's try blog and see if anything better pops up. Now, searching this in, I went for kind of like a weird niche in going for a coffee affiliate blog. So maybe something doesn't match up here, but this is a good example anyway to show you that although picking a template that matches your blog is absolutely fantastic, it makes things way easier, you don't always have to find an exact match. I'm going to do exactly this. So I'm just going to go for this Planet Earth template right here. It has nothing to do with coffee. However, I can still build a fantastic coffee website around this. So just go ahead and choose the template that you are going to go with. And then we will be taken over to this area. What we can also do is, if you kind of like the look of a template, but you're not entirely sure, is we can click into this. We can scroll through and see if we like this. If not, we can click back out and then go ahead and choose a different template. So once again, I'm just going to go down here and choose this template once again. And then right here, we can see we can upload a logo. So you can just go ahead and upload your logo using this button right here, where it says upload file here. We can click into this, upload our logo, and then add this in. Or if you do not yet have a logo, I'll show you how to create a logo as well. The website that I would recommend to do this is canva.com. It makes it super easy to go ahead and create a logo. Now, to get all of the elements and everything that Canva offers, and more importantly, be able to save the logo as a PNG so it has no background, you need Canva Pro. Now, Canva Pro usually costs, I think it's $99 per year or something like this. However, you can get a free trial for 30 days with Canva Pro if you use the first link down in the description. As you can see, we get a pro trial right here, and you can try this out for 30 days. So once you have your Canva Pro trial, all we then have to do is click on Create a Design in this top right corner, and then go down right here to the logo. So we can click on Logo, and then right here, this is going to take us over to Canva. And down the left side, we already have some logos that are kind of pre-created for us. So what we can do is, for example, if you are fitness, once again, we can go to the logo templates and search for fitness. And then you can see these are all of the fitness templates that are already pre-built, are already pre-made, and we can just edit the text and edit these to become your logo. Now, as you can see, most of these are going to have the Pro mark next to them, which is why we need Canva Pro. So what you can do is I will just go up here and search for coffee and create my own logo. And then I will go for this one. I think this one looks pretty cool. Once that is selected, we can just double click on the text, and then we can just go ahead and change this. So I could change this to GeForce North, just like this. And then ESTD will go for 2023. And let's change this top section to say reviews for you. And then maybe move this up a little bit, just like that. And as you can see, in about 30 seconds there, I created my logo. Maybe I can move this up a little bit more, just like that. And then once you have created your logo, all we have to do is click on Share in this top right corner. Then from here, come down to this download button. And then we can download this. Definitely make sure we have a transparent background. And then click download. That is then going to go ahead and download. So what we can now do is go back over to the WordPress editor and upload that new logo in here. So I'm going to do exactly that, upload my new logo. And then once this is selected, just click on select in this bottom right corner. And just like that, I now have my new logo. We can adjust the logo size using this slider on the left-hand side. So if I turn this up, this is going to get much bigger. But as you can see, it's also going to move this menu section in response to how big you make the logo. So I'm going to go about 200 right there. I think that looks pretty cool. And maybe we can actually turn this down to like 170. There we go. Once you have added your logo and adjusted the size, we can then click on continue. And then right here, this is where we can change the colors and the text. So first of all, if we just go to colors, we are going to get given a few different color palettes. So what we can do is just click through these. And as you can see, this is going to change certain font colors and the buttons on your site. Now we can come back and change these at any time. So this is just kind of like a foundation. This is not set in stone. But I'm just going to go through here and choose one for my coffee site. I quite like this kind of like light green color. So this is what I'm going to go with. And then we can come down to the font section. And once again, just click through all of these fonts to see which one we want to stick with. I'm just going to leave it as the default font right here. Then click on continue once both of these have been selected. And then it's going to say just one last step. Now, it is completely optional when they say tell us a little bit about yourself. You do not have to put anything here. And then for the advanced options, I would recommend turning off this share non-sensitive data. There's just no reason to be giving them that. But all of the rest, just leave this on. Then we can click on submit and build my website. And this may take a few seconds just while they install some other plugins and basically set up this entire website for you. As you can see, that has now fully loaded in, and this took in total 22 seconds to go ahead and build me my template. So from here, just click on view your website, and this is going to take us over to the main website. So right here, we now have a complete template, pretty empty right now, you will notice. However, we can now go in and edit this. Each website is made up of 3 different sections. So this top section that is now highlighted is called the header. This mid section, which is now highlighted right now, is the main section, the main meat and potatoes of the website. And then this bottom section is the footer. The way that we edit the header and the footer and the main section of the website is completely different, and we will talk about both of those 2 sections individually. The first thing that we are going to edit is the main content, the main bulk of the website. And to do this, all we need to do is go up to this top bar. By the way, with this bar, don't worry about this. This is not going to show up on the actual website. We only see this because we are currently logged into WordPress. And as I say, to actually go ahead and edit the site, we can just click on edit with Elementor right here. Now this is going to load up Elementor. And as you can see, if we just click out of this, this is a drag and drop editor. This is a lot more seamless than the actual WordPress itself is, and this is exactly why we installed Elementor. This makes it so much easier, as to customize this website, all we have to do is drag and drop. So over on this right hand side, we have this navigator. You can either have this free flowing where we can move this around, or we can go ahead and pin this into a corner. I prefer to have it moving around, but you can see this is made up of a few different sections. Each of these sections shows a different part of the website. So this section right here is this entire top section that we can see here. This second section is going to take us down to this section, and we can see each section is outlined by both of these pink lines. So everything in between this pink line and this pink line is this second section. Then we can click down and see the third section right here, and then click once again and see the fourth section right here. Now, if I go back up to the top and we go back to this first section, we can see if we open this up, this section is made up of a column. Now, if we open the column, this is where we can see the individual things that make up this site. So we first of all have a spacer, which is outlined by this pink. We then have the heading right here, a second heading underneath, and a button. If you want to go ahead and delete any of these certain elements, for example, the button, I can right click on the button on this navigation menu, and then go down and click on delete. That button is now deleted. If you have made a mistake, you have maybe deleted or added something that you don't want to delete or add, what we can do is go over to this main Elementor menu on the left hand side, and then go down to this history icon at the bottom. It's like a clock with a little arrow. Click on this, and then this is going to bring up all of the changes that we have made. So right here, you can see I just removed the button. That is what we are previously on. But if I click back to this last step, that is going to reverse, and the button is now going to be back. So I will leave this as that. Let's go back to the main element. We can also hide elements. by once again coming to this navigation menu, clicking on this eye icon, and that button is still there. It's just now hidden, and I can unhide this at any time. We can also rearrange elements by simply clicking on the element and dragging. So I can move this spacer to underneath the heading. And as you can see, the spacer is now underneath the heading. I can also change the top heading to underneath the second heading, just like that, and do this all back again. To add in new elements, we just want to make sure we are on the main element section by clicking on these 9 dots, and this will take you back over to the main element. To add in different elements to the site, we can just scroll down and choose the element that we would like to add. For example, if I want to add another button, I can grab the button and drag this in to wherever I want on the site. Now we can only drag elements to where we see this pink line. For example, if I try to add an element here, you can see that I cannot add this because no pink line shows up. So choose where you want to add this element. I will just add the button right here. And as you can see, we now have a new button. Each individual element has a control panel on the left-hand side shown over here. So as you can see, I am now controlling this middle button that I just added, and I can make all of the changes that I want to on this button on this left-hand side. For example, if I want to add this button to the center, I can simply go to the alignment on this left-hand side, click on center, and that button is now centered. I can also change the size of this button by using this right here. I can add a link so that if people click this button, they will be taken to the link, and a few other things that I can do with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this button right here. We can also go into text right here. So this pre-built text that is already added, I can click into this and then I can simply type what I want. So I could change this to coffee, just like that. And then if I want to change the color of this, I can once again highlight this text, use the element control panel on this left-hand side to change the color. So if I go over to style right here, we can see the text color is currently green. Let's go ahead and change this to red. And as you can see, that is now going to change. Now, I actually liked the green color that it was before. So I'm just going to go back to history down here and change this back to how it was before, and then go back to the main Elementor editor. So that is the main fundamentals of how this editor actually works. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create my entire web page in front of you so that you can really get a deep understanding of how the entire editor works. And I will show you this step by step. So what I'm going to do here is just change this text above by simply clicking on this. So I can go up here and change this top text to say the best coffee reviews. And then for this, I'm actually going to change this to say GeForce Coffee. We also want to go ahead and make changes to this background, as the default background that you are given probably doesn't match up with the site that you are creating. If it does, fantastic, you can go ahead and leave it as it is. However, for most people, we will probably want to update this background image. Now you will notice if you just try to click into this, nothing is going to happen. It is not going to be selected. So the way that we can actually change this is by going back to this navigation menu and clicking on the main section that we want to change. So remember, the section is kind of like the overall thing that everything else is built into. So we can click on section right here. And then you will notice in this edit section menu on the left-hand side, you can see this image. Now you might be on this layout menu, so just go ahead and change this to style. And then we can see the image here that we can change. Now, the best website that I have found in all of my time of building websites to get these free images is this website called Pexels. All of the images on Pexels are completely free, non-copyright. So if I just want to search for, I don't know, bikes, we can go ahead and look at bikes. But my brand is about coffee, so I will search for coffee. We can then find images in here that, as I say, are non-copyright, and we can upload to the site. So just go ahead and download whichever images you would like from Pexels. And once you have your image, we can then go back over to WordPress, go into this image section and click on choose image. And then we will get brought over to this media library. Now to upload a new image, we just want to go here to upload files at the top, and then we can go ahead and select files. I'm just going to go ahead and add in my image. Make sure the one that we want is selected with this check mark, and then we can click on select. And that is now going to change to be the background of this main section. We can also do things like change the image size and position over on this left-hand side. So we can change the size right here. We can change where this is positioned. We can change the display size and all of these other things. What you may also want to do is if we go down to background overlay, sometimes depending on the background that you choose, the text may clash a little bit and might not be as visible. So what we can do is go into this background overlay and we can add a bit of color here. So I always recommend testing this with black and white. So if I go for black here in this color picker, what I can then do is change the opacity up and down to choose how much of this black background is shown. We can also do the same with white right here. If I change this to white, we can then go ahead and play around with the opacity. However, for this background, I'm going to go for no opacity as I think it just works. We can then scroll down to the next section of the website. And as you can see here, this is, let me just close down this section and open up this second section, which is this section right here. We can see that this, instead of being made up of one column like this first section, is made up of 3 columns, which we can see this is the first column right here, this is the second column, and this is the third column. And then each column is made up of different things like an image, a heading, and a text. So as an example, I could also maybe add in a button into here. I'm not going to keep this, but I could just drag a button into each section. And then once again, use this section on the left-hand side just to go ahead and align certain things, change the size, and all of that good stuff. So let me just go ahead and go back. Let's delete this. Okay. And for this, I'm actually going to go ahead and create a review section for this site. So in here, I actually want to go ahead and add in a heading above this. And if I go ahead and try this, so if I go ahead and grab a heading, you will notice that the pink line doesn't appear and I can't put this in. So what I can do to add this is I would need to add in a brand new section. So the way that I can add in a section is just by hovering over the previous section or clicking on this. And then we can see a little plus icon appears above. So I can click on this plus icon and you can see a new section is now going to be added. Now in here, if I just go back over to the element section, I can then go ahead and grab a heading and drag this straight in. And then I'm going to edit this heading to say our coffee reviews. And then of course, I'm going to align this using this section on the left-hand side. Now what you will sometimes notice is if you add in new sections, the gap can be a little bit big. Like from here, I don't want all this space in between this new section and the existing section. So what we can do is click into both of these sections, and usually it means there's going to be a bit of padding here. So to check this, just select one of these sections, go over to advanced on this left-hand side, and we can see there is no margin or padding on this top section, so it must be on this second section. So I can click into here. And then as we can see, this second section has a lot of top padding. So let's just go ahead and tune this down a little bit to there. And we can see it doesn't move anymore. And that looks a lot better as well. So that is now set up. We now have this text. To edit the images, we can simply just click into each image. And then we can see choose image on this left-hand side. So we can click in and choose images for each of these sections. So once again, we can just click into choose image and we can go ahead and upload files that we want to add here. Now, when it comes to adding images into your WordPress website, there is something that you need to be super careful of, and I will actually show you an example right now. I just went ahead and grabbed some random images of like a coffee machine, a coffee strainer, and some coffee beans from Pexels. And you will notice that because these are just random images that I grabbed, they are not going to be the same size. Now, if you put images on your WordPress site that are not the same size, you are going to get something that looks like this, and it looks super, super unprofessional. Now, if I just go into here, let's actually go into choose image. We can see the reason for this is because this first image is 2500 by 1700 pixels. This next image is 1800 by 2560. And then this other image is just a completely different dimension as well. Now, to actually get around this and make sure all of these images are the same size for your WordPress website, we once again want to go ahead and use Canva. So if we just back out to the home screen right here, what we want to do is make sure that all of these images are the same size. So they are either square or they are either kind of like this oblong shape. I'm going to go ahead and make sure these are all square. So I can go over to Canva, click on create a design in this top corner. And then from here, I just want to go ahead and choose a custom size. Now I'm going to go ahead and make all of these 700 for the width by 700 by the height. And as you can see, this is going to be a square image. So if I now go ahead and click create a new design, this image is now going to be square. So when we go ahead and put these images in, we can resize all of these and make them square. I will just show you an example. So if I grab this first image, I can then take this, drag it along and make sure that this is entirely square. And this is now going to fit the site. Now I want the beans to be kind of like the main thing that is shown here. So I can drag this out and make sure this is just the beans that are shown. Okay, perfect. And this is now a square image. So I can share, go ahead and download this just like normal. We don't need to bother about the transparent background this time. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do the exact same with these other two images where I just spread them out, make sure the main thing that I want is still in focus. Just like that. And then once again, go ahead and download this. Now I have my square images. If I just go back in, click on each of these sections, and we change these to the images that we just created, just like that, you can see these are all now the same size, and this looks a lot more professional. So in here, we can just go down and change this text underneath, just like this. Of course, if I was actually creating this website, I would also edit this text underneath, but I'm just going to leave this as this is an example. So I think you guys now have a good idea on kind of like the fundamentals of how you build a website using WordPress and Elementor. Just to give a quick recap, we are going to get most of the elements from over here on this left-hand side. Some of them are obviously locked for Pro, but for 90% of the things that you actually need to use for website functionality, we can get with the basic right here. The theme that you choose is going to do 99% of the heavy lifting for you. And in this example that you've even seen, even when you choose a theme that doesn't really have anything to do with the type of website you are going to build, it still does most of the heavy lifting for you. And all we have to do is change some text, change some colors around, and maybe add in a few different elements here and there. Another important thing that I completely forgot to mention is the fact that we need to check if this is mobile optimized. And the way that we can do this is just by going to this responsive mode right here. It looks kind of like a laptop and a mobile phone. We can click into this and it's going to open up this little tab at the top where we can flick between desktop, where we are now, a tablet. So this is how it may look on an iPad or something like that. And then we also have the phone right here. So we can look through and check if this is optimized. And if we see something, for example, that isn't optimized for mobile, like it looks weirdly squashed or it just doesn't look like it should be there, we can actually hide it from the mobile. So let's just back out of responsive mode right here and go back into the editor, and I will show you how to do this. So let me just go ahead and add in an icon just as an example. And let's imagine that this icon, it doesn't look very good on mobile. So what we can actually do is go over to advanced once again on this left-hand side. And then if we scroll down to responsiveness right here, we can go ahead and hide it on desktop, hide it on tablet portrait, or hide on mobile phone. So for example, if I go ahead and if we just take a look at this now on mobile, we can see this is right there, but we can go ahead and flick this off. It will show right here as kind of a background with a strike through. But on the actual mobile, if somebody went to view this on their mobile phone, they would not be able to see this as this is hidden. So let me just actually go ahead and delete this. Okay, perfect. The main use case of this is, for example, up here, it's not the worst, but we can see that this text is maybe not as optimized as we would maybe like it to. So we could go ahead and click on this entire section, go down to advanced, and then into responsiveness. And we can hide this entire section on mobile phone. So this would still be available on desktop. The desktop mode would look the exact same. However, as this is hidden on the mobile phone, we can create a brand new one that is specifically optimized just for people scrolling along on their phone, and they will not see this quote unquote unoptimized version on their mobile. So that is how we can edit the main section of the homepage of the website. Now, if you remember, we do have a header and footer that is not shown here. So if I just go down here and click on this eye icon, this is going to show us the actual website. Remember, this section will disappear if we are not logged into WordPress. So this is just for us to see. But we can see that we now have this header and the footer section that has now been added in. Now, we definitely do need to edit this. However, we are not going to edit this right now. We are first of all going to create different pages for this website, and then we can come back to the header so that we can actually add these pages into this menu right here. So as an example, I might want to go ahead and create some pages for this coffee maker review, the coffee filter review, and the coffee bean review. Your website is obviously going to differ in what you want these pages to be about, but I'm assuming that you do not just want a one-page website. So in order to actually create different pages, we can just close this tab down and go back to where we were before. And what we need to do is back out to the main page of WordPress. So to do this, just click on this little hamburger icon in the top left-hand corner. And then we want to go here to exit. We will then be taken back to this main WordPress editor right here. So we can just click on WordPress in this top right corner. And it can be pretty scary to see this the first time where it says changes you made may not be saved. Don't worry about this. We can just click on leave. And then just to show you that this saved everything anyway, let's go ahead and view the site. And as you can see, everything here has been saved. So that is how you can access your site at any time to start customizing it again, is just by clicking on this website button in the top left corner. This will then take us over to the site so that we can view and then go ahead and edit this as well. So once we are on the main WordPress dashboard once again, to actually go ahead and create different posts and different kind of blog articles and things like this, what we can do is go over here on the left-hand side and just click into posts. So for example, if I just take a look at all posts, I currently don't have any posts in here. So let's go ahead and add a new post using this section on the left-hand side. Now this is going to open up a new post where I can go ahead and start editing this and changing. So we do have a few different options here. We can just start creating this post. So for example, one of mine was coffee bean reviews. This is how we can just edit this within normal WordPress. And down here, we can just go down and start creating this blog. Now, personally, I don't think this looks as nice. I don't think it's as good. As what we can do is, once again, go up here and click on Edit with Elementor. So in here, we can go ahead and once again start editing with Elementor. There is one other thing that I wanted to show you there, so let's just go back. And this is the fact that we can go ahead and use these template kits from Starter Template. Now, I will say that these are not as useful as they are when creating the actual website, because as you can see with these pages, unless you are creating a store, these really look more like home pages on a website. Like if we look through here, these don't really look like blog posts, so they're not the most useful. We can also go in here to patterns, and when these load up, these can be pretty handy to actually go ahead and add to the website. Same with wireframes. These are a little bit more simple, but we can just go ahead and import these. So what I would recommend doing is, if I just go back to the WordPress editor here, is go into Edit with Elementor from this screen. And this will take us through to the main Elementor editor, where once again, we can use all of these blocks, the exact same blocks that we could use on the homepage. Once we are in here, we can see that this is pretty much identical to how we go ahead and build the homepage. However, for now, this is a blog. So pretty easy. All we would do is, for example, drag in some text, and then we can go through here and start typing out the blog. So we just go like this, imagine this is a blog article. And then maybe we want to add an image in. So we can go back here, drag in an image and just add this above. Of course, maybe make this, you know what that image could maybe do. Maybe we can just make this a little bit smaller though. And using these tools, this is once again how you can go ahead and create a blog post. So I'm not going to drag this on and make you sit here and watch me write out this blog post. But what I'm going to do is create one blog post real quick, and then I can show you the settings that we need to include in this. And most importantly, how we can get this in the navigation menu, and also how we can link this to your main homepage. Okay, so I just went ahead and created this quick blog article right here on the best coffee beans. And what we can also actually do is, I just want to show you this as an example, is we can add in affiliate links into here. So what I can maybe do is take this. I'm not entirely sure what this coffee bean is, but I can go here and then go over to something like Amazon. Maybe you are Amazon affiliate marketing. This is just an example, and find an example of this. So let's say that this is what I wanted to promote. I could then just go ahead and grab this link from the top, or grab the affiliate link, I should say. This is not an affiliate link, but I would grab my affiliate link. And then what I can do is just come back here, highlight the exact section that I would want to have clickable. And then you can see we have this insert link button right here where we can add this in. So just like that, you can see that link has now been added. So if I go here and just make sure this is saved and then preview the changes, if I now go ahead and click onto this, you can see that this is going to take me over to Amazon. One thing I will change here is if we just highlight this, we can click here into edit and then the link options to make sure that this opens in a new tab, and then people can come back to this page. That's a much better way to do this. But overall, you can see that I've created a very simple blog article right here. And this is how this is going to look. So now this is saved, I will just go ahead and update this again. Once you have created your first blog article, what we can then do is go back over to WordPress right here. Let me close all of these other tabs, starting to get a little bit confusing. Now let's go back over to WordPress. And as you can see, my new blog is right here. Now, if I just go ahead and open this in a new tab so that you can see what I change here when we go into settings. So right now we can see the title is Elementor da-da-da-da-da. This is not very professional, so of course we need to change this. So we just want to go to quick edit right here. And then as you can see, this is how we can change the title, the slug, and all of these other things. So if I just change this title to, what does it say here? I'll just say the best coffee beans. The best beans review. And then the slug. So if I go back here, this is the slug right here. So we can see rileyholden.com/ and then this is the slug. So if I just go ahead and change this to coffee beans like that, we can then also change the date that this was created. We can add a password to this to make it password protected. If anybody comes to the site, we can also make this private. And then we can go into categories, which we will talk about in a second. We can also add tags right here, which once again, we will talk about. But once all of this is updated, we can click on update. And now if we go back over here and hit refresh. Okay, so this is because we are back in the old slug. Let's actually close that down and click on view once again. As you can see, this slug has now updated to coffee beans like we changed it. And then we now have the best coffee beans review. And then we have this section beneath where people can leave a comment. We can go ahead and turn this off. I'll just show you how to do that. You can turn comments off by going into quick edit. And then over here, we can allow comments. We can potentially turn that off. And then let's go back in. And then we can see we just have a blog section that will show us all of the blog posts and then the author of the site. Okay, so once we have created that blog, let's just go back out here. And then we can see down this left-hand side under posts, we also have categories. Now, right now, you can see that we have one category for blog. So if you just have a few blog articles, this might be a good idea, but we can create a new category. So in this example, I might call this reviews or coffee reviews. The slug is obviously the backend, so we will just call this reviews. Parent category, so you can have categories that are within categories. I wouldn't really worry about that right now until you have a lot of different blog articles. And then we can also create a description. Now, once you have done all of that, if we just click add new category, we can see this coffee reviews category is now created. So if we now go back to our posts, for example, we can go ahead in the categories here. Obviously, what we want to go to edit. And then in categories, we can change this to coffee reviews. Let's unselect blog and hit update. And that is now part of the coffee reviews category. So we have now created a blog post and we have now sorted it into different categories. It looks professional. We now have the slug. The next thing that we need to do is actually link this to the homepage that we just created so that people can now access this. So to do this, I'm just going to go back over to my website once again, the main website right here. And then the first thing that we want to do is link it to, where is it? This button right here for the coffee bean reviews. So let's go in and edit this with Elementor. And then if we scroll down here, let's just go to the coffee bean reviews. And this is what we want to link up. So we can simply click on this right here. And then in the link section, we can go ahead and link this up to a custom URL. Now to find the custom URL, I'm just going to go back to my WordPress dashboard, which I bookmarked earlier on. And then I want to go ahead and link this to the coffee bean page. So if I just go to this post right here and view all posts, let's go view. And then you can see this is the URL that will take us to that page. So I'm just going to simply copy this and then paste this into this URL field right here. And let's actually go ahead and try this out. So I'll preview changes, click on this, and boom, that takes us straight over. So that is how we can link individual images or even text to take us to different pages. Now we can go ahead and edit the header and the footer section of our WordPress website so that we can have these navigation menus. So to do this, to edit the header and the footer, we want to go back to this main page and then click on Customize in the top left corner. This is going to take us over to the menu where we can now go ahead and edit both the header and the footer of our WordPress site. So to edit these navigation menus, we of course want to click into menus and then go into menus right here. And then you will see everything that makes up this menu. Now you can see this is the current menu that we have. We have home, about, services, and contact that show up here. So we can go ahead and add a new item. Now that is going to open up this section and we have a few different things to choose from. We can either add a custom link where we can link to another page. We can add pages where you will see all of like the home, contact, services, and about page. And then posts. So this is what we want. We can see my post of the coffee beans review. So I can add that. And you can see that that is just going to be added there. So in hindsight, I maybe should have titled this a little bit shorter as it doesn't look professional. Maybe just reviews or something like that. But it doesn't really matter too much. So that is now added. And you can add anything else that you want to these menus by following these steps. So let's now back out of that. And let's give this a test right here by clicking on the best coffee beans review. And we can see that is going to take us over to that blog page. If we go ahead and back out of this, we have some other options in this customize menu. For example, we can go into the header builder where we can go ahead and fully design this header. We can choose like the content width. We can go in, change the title and logo. We can go into the primary menu, change whether this is a transparent header or not. You can also go down to site identity, add in a site icon, and instead of having like this blank globe icon, you can add an actual logo like you can see in the top corner of the site. So if I just go ahead and back out of this right here, and we just go back to WordPress. Now, the final thing that I want to cover here is just some cool and helpful plugins and different extensions that I have personally used with WordPress. So if I just go to the plugin store right here, the first one is, it should just be on this first page. Okay, maybe not. So if we type in 2FA, This right here, this WordFence security, it effectively adds a firewall, malware scan, and overall protects your website. We also get some two-factor authentication here. So this is definitely worth going ahead and installing onto your site just for an extra bit of security. Another fantastic tool that I have found for WordPress is this website called Elfsight that gives us access to a lot of different widgets that we can't usually access with WordPress or Elementor. Things like being able to add an Instagram feed into your website, or a countdown timer, or a pop-up, or YouTube gallery, or all of these different things. It makes it super simple to go ahead and integrate this into your site. Now, if you want to sign up to Elfsight, you can do so using the link in the description. And if you do that, you will actually be able to go through and create a free account on Elfsight. So with this, let's just say I wanted to create an Instagram feed, for example. I can go through here and just choose how I would want this to be shown. I'll go for this one right here. Then enter the Instagram username. I'll go for Jude Bellingham. And then we can add this. So you could just add your Instagram page or whichever Instagram page you want to add. Then we can go through, and if I just go to view plans right here, as I say, we can get a free plan if you just want to test this out. Or we can also go with one of these more paid plans for when you actually start getting traffic to your store. You can go ahead and add these paid plans in. So if I just go back out, all that is required here is we just get a little bit of text if we go install, and then we can simply grab this text, put it onto our WordPress site, and this is going to add a bunch of other widgets and cool tools that we can use with Elfsight. So that is how you can create your very own affiliate marketing website. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to smash that like button and tap that subscribe button. And until next time, take it easy.